Hello guys, welcome to the first in a many series of GTA car reviews where I, your host Seb Almighty, take you through the many wonderful 2, 4 and 6 wheel vehicles that GTA 5 Online has to offer. Now, I'm going to kick off today's episode with what I think is probably my favourite car ever in the GTA universe, a vehicle that holds many happy memories with me, is very nostalgic, very British, and certainly probably in fact one of the most beautiful looking and sounding cars in the game. Now I'll start off by saying that all these opinions and videos that I do on car reviews are opinions based on my own personal thoughts and feelings. They're not affiliated with anyone else or any other part of Rockstar. They are purely my own personal thoughts and feelings on the car, so you know it's going to differ from other people's. I just wanted to say that before people complain, you know, and start massive arguments on the internet. You know, these are all my own personal thoughts. Okay, so the car I'm going to show you today, as I said, is a very British icon. It's probably one of the most iconic British cars you will ever see, and it is of course the JB700, based off the Aston Martin DB5 in real life. And I mean, this car is just absolutely fabulous. It really is one of the best looking cars in the game, and it doesn't matter if you stand up close or you get too far away, it just looks absolutely stunning. I think the fact that it's got really nice sort of lines and shape, you know, it's that very sort of British classic kind of car shape, just makes it just such an appealing car. Unfortunately, as you can see on the front, there are two machine guns above each of the wheels. None of the machine guns work on this car in multiplayer. In fact, none of the gadgets that this car is based off work on multiplayer. On single player, of course they do. There is obviously that mission with Franklin where you go and acquire this car from the movie studios, and you get to play with the machine guns, the ejector seat, and all the other cool gadgets. But on multiplayer, unfortunately not. It is a bit of a downside considering you can run around with other vehicles with machine guns and all sorts of armaments on it, but unfortunately not. So the JB700, well, there are good points and there are bad points. Unfortunately, there are with every vehicle. The good points, apart from the looks, is the sound. Now, getting in this car, starting it up, it just sounds absolutely fabulous. Inside, it's your typical 60s British classic car. The steering wheel isn't authentic as far as I'm concerned. They could have gone for a more authentic looking DB5 steering wheel, but it's your classic dash. You know, there's nothing unnecessary on this car. It is a fabulous car. It is two-seater, although there are seats in the back. You can probably fit, I don't know, something in the back. I'm not quite sure what. Maybe a little bit of shopping, or I don't know, maybe a dead body if you have to. But anyway, this car is just absolutely fabulous. I will, you know, keep saying it's fabulous because it is, and it just sounds so nice when you really open this car up. Really just put your foot down. That classic British engine, and it doesn't sound too far off the actual Aston Martin DB5 engine. If you go onto Google or any other kind of video site and look at the Aston Martin DB5, it does not sound that too dissimilar. It just sounds absolutely fabulous, this car. It's such a nice car to drive. You know, it's quick, it's nimble. You know, it's not the fastest car in the game by any means. It will get you A to B relatively quickly, however, and it will get you to A to B in some style. Now, there are, like I said, down points to this car. One of the biggest down points that you notice if you drive this car a lot is the fact that it's rear wheel drive. and on GTA rear wheel drives have an awful problem of spinning out. I'll just show you. Hang on. So as an example, if you're parked up, you know, you need to try and get away in a hurry, you need to spin round, you get the horrible wheel spin and the car will just spin out of control. Very difficult to get under control if you're trying to get away, and it can cause problems, and it has led to quite a large number of deaths due to the fact that it is very hard to control if you're trying to get away in a hurry. Now, more so if you're trying to get away in wet weather, for instance, if it's rainy, if it's stormy, this car is absolutely impossible to drive and control at high speeds. However, for what it is, let's be honest, it's just a posing, cruising car that you can just have fun in, just drive down the open roads. You know, it's not used, I wouldn't necessarily say you could use it for, you know, specific jobs. It doesn't really necessarily have a purpose. It will suit most jobs and most purposes, but I think that this car is mainly just for show and tell, really. It is just a car that you can just show off to your mates, you can take to online car shows and rallies and that kind of thing, and you know, just to kind of, you know, show off that it is what it is, a classic British car based off the infamous Aston Martin DB5 from the James Bond series. And it, you know, it's a wonderful, wonderful car to own. It isn't particularly expensive compared to other cars. You can pick this up for $300,000 in game, which, considering the cost of some of the other vehicles, is actually pretty reasonable. It is decommissioned, like I said, none of the machine guns or any of the gadgets work on multiplayer, which I think is a real shame. But in a way, I kind of like that, because it stops everybody having this car, and this is one of the cars that you very, very rarely see on multiplayer, people driving, but you appreciate it when you do, because it is just such a fabulous car. I keep saying it and I apologise, but it really is. And I mean, it's kind of hard to really describe this car in, you know, continued words. I mean, I can use words all day long, like fabulous, beautiful, refined, you know, and it is, you know, the actual car, the shape, the style, you can't fault it. The customizable options, well, to be honest, I don't really want to customize it. You know, apart from maybe changing the paint job to that kind of James Bond-esque, you know, grey. There's nothing modified on this car, you know, apart from I've upgraded the armour, is the only thing that I've changed. Primarily because I used to use this car a lot in online jobs and cruising around, and I used to get shot at a lot by other players. The armour is the only thing that I've added to the car, and to be honest, the 100% armour really does not affect the car any other than if you had no armour on the vehicle at all. Like I said, the major downside is the rear wheel drive. It is an absolute awful vehicle to drive at high speed in treacherous conditions. The spinning out can cause problems during high speed chases and that kind of thing, but if you are looking for a British classic vehicle that's iconic, that looks good, sounds great, and does, you know, turn heads and get attention from other players and NPCs, then you can really, really look no further than the JB700. It really is one of the most favourite cars of mine in the game. Well, I'm going to keep this first review short and sweet, because, like I said, I don't tend to customise this car a lot, you know, there is very little more to say on the car. It is worth it if you do have the cash, just to keep it in the garage and show off every once in a while. But that has been the JB700. I have been Seb Almighty. Stay tuned for more GTA car reviews, where we'll look a bit more in depth into some of the more refined and some of the exotic cars on GTA. But for now, take care. See you guys real soon. Bye for now.